Over 100 years ago, Dr. Maria Montessori discovered something called sensitive periods, amongst many other beautiful things. And this has worked amazingly for us Montessori educators since then. As Montessori parents who are working with children closely in this day and age during coronavirus, it's very important for you to understand the concept of sensitive periods and how it works. These are periods or time frame which a child goes through where he or she enters a sort of a compulsion which helps him or her develop certain aspect related to his development or her development at a very high or a very pronounced rate, right? So if there is sensitive period for language, then the language development, if the environment and if the guidance is correct, will be immense. If there's sensitive period to movement, the development will be higher compared to other time frames if we are giving the child the right environment and the right guidance, right? So sensitive periods are very important for the development of the child. Dr. Maria Montessori herself mentioned that a sensitive period comes for a little time, but it stays with the child for life. So that's how important sensitive periods are for the development of a child. We also believe that a child will be getting immense advantage out of these sensitive periods if they are met three conditions. One is an adult, which might be a parent, might be a teacher, who is observant, an environment which works beautifully for the child, and someone, an adult obviously, who is aware and conscious of these sensitive periods and respect them. Then your child's development will be immense and amazing. So that's the beauty, that's the power of sensitive periods. No child understands or literally knows that he or she will not come up and tell you, I am going through a sensitive period. No, that's not it is. It's a very internal process, but it has amazing, amazing benefits if we take care and if we are respectful to the sensitive periods a child goes through. How to analyze it, how to observe it, that's a very lengthy topic of discussion. But obviously, we will be able to assess that if we observe and if we work with the child, along with the child, let him or her take the lead. So that's how sensitive periods work beautifully. Each period, I will share an image towards the end of the video for you to understand. But there again in that image, the age bracket which will be mentioned, that will be an average. Every child goes through the phase at his or her own pace. So each period here has a special sensibility and physical attributes which are attached to that particular period. An overpowering force, it's an overpowering interest, and they get a push in that particular zone. So for instance, younger children have these amazing ability to observe and to they get attracted to small objects. So that's also a part of one of the sensitive periods, right? A period of time during which the child centers his or her attention to a specific area of development. It can be movement, it can be writing, it can be math, it can be language, it can be reading, it can be walking, anything. They have a drive, they have a passion, a commitment, which makes them work towards in that particular area. And it is basically they have this inner drive which takes them to that particular area or attribute, and they learn immensely and very much in that particular zone if we observe correctly and we present the right activities, provide the right environment. An intense and prolonged period which does not lead to fatigue or boredom. They don't get bored, they don't get irritated. I have seen children working again and again and again with the same material, with the same amount of interest, and it is purely magical. It's a transitory state. Once realized, the sensitive period disappears. So once they have gained everything out of that particular period, it disappears and the next takes over. They don't relive it and they don't go through it again. So that is why education, right environment, right guidance is extremely crucial between 0 to 6 years, right? So because that is during that time sensitive periods appear to the fullest. So I'll briefly tell you about the sensitive periods. I'll be reading here because I don't have everything memorized, though we observe and we know exactly what which sensitive period children go through, but I didn't want to miss out on anything, so I will be reading. There are broadly 11 sensitive periods from birth to 6 years of age. That's why we always tell you that 0 to 6 is a very crucial time for development for a child, and if we say that they will learn after first grade, that is not how it works. While each child continues to learn throughout their life, what they learn till 6 years is immensely important, immensely crucial. So one of the first periods that they have is sensitivity to order. Now, sensitive period to order is a desire to have consistency and repetition. So if you see younger children, they want meals at time. If they don't sleep on time, they'll get immensely cranky. They want a particular space where they lie, a particular area where they eat. They have only limited number of people which they want to get exposed to. Anything which goes away from routine for them, they have to have a tantrum most of the time, right? So the environment must be carefully organized where we ensure that that order is respected. And usually children go through this period between 2 to 4 years. I said usually because each child follows their own pace. Sensitivity to movement is one of the first periods, which is between birth to 1 year of age. Random movements, the child, if you see a newborn baby, they can't even lift their heads. But by the time they reach 1 year of age, most of them are walking or about to walk. That's because of the magic of this sensitivity to movement. Then they have sensitivity towards small objects, which I was talking about, where they are extremely attracted to small objects. And this is between 1 to 4 years of age. And children experience a fixation. They are totally attracted to small, little, minimal small objects. If you are a Montessori parent, you must know how important is the smallest cube of pink towel for many of them. Many times my students keep it in their pocket, the younger ones, and take it home, and the next day the parents return it. So that's the power of small objects for these young children between 1 to 4 years of age. Another aspect is sensitivity to grace and courtesy. I always tell that children are beautiful imitators. If you want them to do something, you need to do the same thing. Imitation of polite and considerate behavior leads to an internalization. So whether it's apologizing, it's how you greet, it's how you ask for an excuse, everything comes under grace and courtesy, which starts from around 2 to 6 years of age. Refinement of senses is another sensitive period where they have a fascination of sensorial experience and they love working with sensorial material. It can be material related to taste, to touch, to sound, weight, anything. And it is between 2 to 6 years of age. Writing. Children become fascinated with learning to write numbers and letters, and they attempt to reproduce this with anything and everything. That is between 3 to 4 years of age. That's when they start. Reading. Simultaneous interest develops with symbolic letters, and a little after writing, reading happens, and they start showing interest in reading anywhere between 3 to 5. But as I mentioned, each child follows his or her own pace. This is what generally happens. Expressive language. Have you heard a child narrate a story to you? For me, it's one of the most beautiful experiences. Children who express beautifully are really close to my heart personally. So there is a sensitive period of expressive language where they use words, big words. You say it in front of the child and you'll see after a few days they are repeating it with that drama and that emotion, and they love expressing and narrating things. That is highly visible in many children, but all of them go through that phase between birth to 6. And then spatial relationship. So if we see the concept of time, the concept of distance, the concept of space, all this becomes heightened, becomes more apparent, or becomes more visible in children after 4 years until 6 years of age. That's why time is something we teach children when they get into this space, and they beautifully take it up. Sensitivity to music, spontaneous interest in tunes and rhythms and tones and tapping between 2 to 6 years, and mathematics. So we call it the awakening of the mathematical mind, and they start wanting to count everything, wanting to learn everything in numbers and in the concept of maths. And it is beautiful, and how Montessori made maths concrete and before turning it into abstract is the beauty of Montessori, and how we ensure that considering the sensitivity to mathematics and the mathematical mind awakening, we take care that the children are experiencing maths and not just learning concepts or mugging up concepts. So that is a brief. I am leaving an image in the description box below, so it will be more easy for you to kind of see. But again, one disclaimer, which I have repeated 2 times already, is that it is an average age that is mentioned over there. All these ages are depend on the individual child, but each child goes through these sensitive periods at their own pace. Another thing which I wanted to say is very important for sensitive period to be experienced by the child fully is a prepared environment, an aware adult, and observation. So this was Falak. I hope you liked my little talk on sensitive periods. I had my notes here on my laptop, so I didn't want to miss out on them. That's why my eye movement was a little off today, but I hope you liked it. And I'm a Montessori educator. I am a parent coach. I am also a happiness and wellness coach and a life coach. You do check my details in the bio below, and you can send me an email if you want to know more. I'll leave all the details in the description below. It was great talking to you through the screen, and thanks so much for watching. I'd look forward to hearing your suggestions. If you liked what you saw, please share, hit the bell icon, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Bye-bye. Lots of love, and keep rethinking life. Keep rethinking parenting. Bye-bye.